Hello and welcome to the garage. Next project I'm going to be working on is sprucing up the TT-02R. Those of you who watched the channel previously know this is the car that we used for the Poor Boys RC Speedrun Challenge in fall of 23. Logan and I had a lot of fun with this car and trying to get it to go as fast as we could. And then once the speed run challenge was over, we kept going to see if we could get it faster and faster. And we finally hit 81 miles per hour.
81!
81! So as it sits now, this is what it looks like. Very dusty, very dirty. We've got tape holding pieces together. These gearbox covers have been taken off and put on so many times because the speed that we were running just destroys the gears, so they just constantly needed replaced or re-greased or something. It's been crashed to the point I thought it was totaled twice. But both times I was able to rebuild it with some spare parts and whatnot. So with all the hard life that it's had, I thought it would be time for a rebuild in so much. Going to put a new chassis on. I got the Tamiya TT-02 lower deck hard black. So this is a stiffer deck, a harder, tougher deck. Chassis on this is pretty scarred up because the first place we were running was a nice long stretch, but it was a tar and chip type road, and they had just done it in the fall, so it was really nice and smooth, and they had brushed the chips off to the side. But as time went on, the cars brought the chips back out into the road and really just did a number on the bottom of this chassis. And then we found a nice flat asphalt place is where we finally got up to 81. So new chassis, because removing all these gearbox covers, they screw directly into the chassis, and all of the holes, screw in, screw out, screw in, screw out. I mean, we did this for probably 6 weeks or so, and after every run I was taking these gearboxes off to check the gears and everything, so those holes are pretty much worn out. So I think the harder chassis will help with that as well, because this chassis, the stock chassis, is pretty soft. Then I also picked up, I didn't want to go full aluminum, but I did pick up this Essentials gearbox and suspension upgrade set from Yeah Racing. And this is what it's got. It's got 2 aluminum gearbox covers. The front and back are identical with aluminum screws. So it's got nice gearbox covers and suspension arm. That's going to replace this here and look really sharp. It comes with instructions on how to do it. And then it also comes with the Yeah Racing aluminum big bore dampers. I'm liking these. These are a little more adjustable, a little softer than what's on here. I always thought what was on here was very stiff. I feel like they barely work. Maybe that's what an on-road car does. But then it also comes with different sets of springs. And of course, your different inserts with 1 hole, or with like 2 hole, 3 hole. They do not have oil in them yet. But this is the instructions on how to put them together. Nice thing is, they're already built. I was not expecting that. I was expecting to have to build them. and then all of the new balls and stuff to make them work. So those will be all nice and new. So that's the next project I'm going to put together. Originally, like I said, this was the TT-02R, so I thought, you know, due to all the hard work that this car's been through, I thought it'd be a nice tribute to refresh the chassis, make it like new again, and upgrade it slightly. Alright, so let's get to the build. I've got the TT-02R all tore apart. This is the old chassis, but one thing I wanted to kind of point out with these speed runs is I was using this nice big pinion. I can't remember what this is on here. I think it's like a 40 tooth or something. It's a big pinion. It's so big that I had to, you know, open the cover up so it would fit. But then this is the spur, and this is another size. I can't remember what I put in here, but as you can see, it's pretty worn out. It's got a lot of some parts where the teeth have melted. Going 81 miles an hour did a number on that plastic spur, and I had a few of them. It's just about every few runs or so, you would hit the throttle and you just hear the motor go whee, and well, you burned up the spur, so you had to get a new one. Something I found that did work is I really flooded this compartment with grease. I don't know if it created drag or anything, probably did, but it did help the spurs not melt. But then as I take this apart and I get down in here, that's plastic bits of spur gear from over, I don't know how many runs we made from when we started in late August through the end of November when the weather changed. So you can see over here, this is nice clean grease from the diff, nothing in here. But I just want to show that, just the beat down that these cars take when they go 80 miles per hour. So now it's time to just put it back together. I'm going to clean all these parts and then put it back together with the new chassis and the new YA Racing parts. So there's the TT-02R, all done. This was the kit I put in. This is the Yeah Racing Aluminum Performance Damper Upgrade Set for the Tamiya TT-02. So had the new diff covers, new shocks, nice big bore shocks. I put stiffer springs in the front, softer, or in the back, softer springs in the front because the front is less flexible. Not my best wiring job I've ever done, but I've got a BEC in here because the with this motor and the servo going at the same time, I was getting some power loss, so I put a BEC in. Got the capacitor to keep the power level. I've got a fan to keep the ESC cool because this ESC is rated for, I think, 8.5T. I'm not 100% sure, but it's definitely not 6.5T. This motor is a little outside the range. And then, of course, fan. And so this is it. Got a gyro in there. So just a recap of everything. Got the new aluminum diff covers, new shocks, and a new chassis. I did not go with new A-arms because you can see these have taken a beating. But in here they're fine. The chassis was also fine. So I think these being flexible is a good thing. It's helping absorbing some of that shock anytime it hits a bump or something at 80 mile an hour. Where if these were aluminum, I think it would transfer that shock into the chassis and actually crack the chassis or something like that, where an A-arm is way easier to replace than a chassis. So that's it. All set. So thanks for stopping by the garage, and until next time, have a great one.